What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today we got another service call for you, so stick with me and I'll see you at the customer's house. Alright, I'm at the customer's house, and what the problem is going on at this service call, he says he showed me the supply plenum. He said there was water leaking out of the supply plenum that was leaking down onto his ceiling. I think what we have going on is a clogged up drain, but somehow, I mean, this water is leaking into the supply plenum and getting on the ceiling. So I'm gonna carry you guys inside, show you what we're looking at, and basically see if we can fix this thing. See you in the house. All right, we can see where it's been leaking. All right, I'm up in the attic, and kind of show you guys what he's saying. See if we can get over here to the unit. Alright, what he's saying is he's having water leaking. We have nothing in our drain pan, but what he's saying is this plenum right here, out of the corner of this plenum, he's getting water dripping. Now if we go back over here, now if we look at this plenum, it looks like that plenum actually goes downhill. It's got like a little dip on it. So I think our evaporator is filling up with water. It's getting into the plenum and it's basically leaking out. So we got to see what's causing this evaporator to fill up with water. Alright guys, the first thing that I see is, look at this. Your secondary drain line, instead of going down into my drain pan, somebody has actually got it turned up. Now what this will do is, if this drain line ever stops up, this right here will end up backing the water up into my evaporator, cause that to fill up, and water can actually go down into my plenum. So somebody installed this wrong, and you see if we pour that, turn that down, water is actually coming out of our secondary. So what we will need to do is let this customer know that this secondary needs to be drained into our drain pan. So in case there's ever another problem like this, it'll actually fill up the drain pan, flip the float switch before there's a problem. But first, what we're going to need to do is check our drain line itself to see if that's stopped up. Now what I'm going to do to clean this drain line, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this. You can see water backing up from this area. Now what I did is I just blew the drain out with my breath. That's enough to clear any blockage out you have from the drain line. And by doing that, I could feel when I was blowing in, the blockage was in the drain line. So what that was going on was the drain line was blocked up. It was backing water into our evaporator coil. With the secondary drain line turned up, the water wasn't able to escape. It was filling up our drain pan, spilling over into our plenum, and that's what was causing the whole problem. So let me get this drain line back together. Alright guys, anytime you have a drain problem, now that we got the drain fixed upstairs, we always want to go to where the drain exits the house. Always make sure you have water coming out of that drain. And here's where the drain exits this house here. This is coming from upstairs, coming outside, and we can see that we now have water coming out of our drain. So basically, I think we got this drain problem taken care of. So I'll see you guys back in the truck, and we'll go over the service call. Alright guys, just to recap this service call, what the customer's telling me was, when I first got here, he showed me the ceiling of his upstairs, which I tried to show you to start with. That basically there was a big water stain. That water from his furnace was coming down onto his to his upstairs ceiling. We went to the attic, and what he showed me was the plenum box coming off the furnace. Out of one of the edges of the plenum box, water was coming out. Sorry, the customer come out. But water was coming out of the edge of his plenum box, was actually running down onto the sheetrock of his ceiling. And there's a few things that caused that. When we got up there first, we saw that the plenum box was not level. It was actually going down. So basically water was backing up into our evaporator coil. I think it was overfilling the drain pan and the evaporator coil. It was overfilling into the plenum box, running down the plenum box and getting onto the ceiling. So basically we had to take the plenum box, we had to level that out to get that dip out of the plenum box. So basically I took a strap, I strapped that up. We got the plenum box level. Second, we saw the secondary drain. Somebody had took the secondary drain, and instead of running it into the drain pan the way it's supposed to be, they had just basically put a 90 in it and turned it up. So basically what that was doing was causing water to back up into our evaporator coil. So instead of if you have a stopped up drain, which was the whole problem with this, water was backing up in the coil, could not get out, and that's the whole reason it was getting into the plenum box. So we let the customer know. We took the secondary drain, we ran that into the drain pan. The drain pan actually had a drain on it as well as a float switch. So now if this was to the drain line was to ever back up again, this water can actually exit the evaporator coil, either get into the secondary drain outside, or if there's a problem, trigger a float switch to let the customer know there's a problem. So there's a couple of things that really what this came down to is poor installation. Somebody did not have the plenum box leveled out. That would have prevented this from happening. And if somebody had just run the secondary drain the correct way, that would have prevented the problem as well. So all this come from a poor installation, pretty much. So as you see, how it's important to have not only your primary drain good, have a good slope on it, your secondary drain has to be installed correctly to keep problems from happening. And if it's not done so, it can cause problems like this with a damaged ceiling. So guys, I hope you learned something new on this service call. Learned a little bit about secondary drains and what could cause problems like this to happen. So if you did learn something, please hit that like and subscribe button. It means a whole lot to me to know you guys are learning something. And as always, I will see you guys on the next service call. Thanks.